this problem that we have in America of fake news. And it's not just fake news. I mean, we've got fake news sites like Fox News and multiple. Now we have 3 right-wing television networks that specialize in propaganda and disinformation and lies. You've got literally thousands of right-wing websites. If you look at, Judd Legum has a great piece on this today over at popular.info. If you look at the top sites that appear as news, in quotes, on Facebook, they're all right-wing websites. You get down to like number 6 or 7 and you hit The Guardian. But the vast majority of it is a handful of right-wing websites that traffic in disinformation. So how do we deal with this? I mean, people are calling for a return of the fairness doctrine, but the fairness doctrine only required equal time when the person who was speaking was either the owner or the management of a radio or television station or network. And they pretty much don't speak anymore anyway. They just hire people to speak on their networks. And the fairness doctrine never regulated what was on the radio station or the television station unless it was the voice of the management. So that won't do it. One thing that I've suggested over the years is reversing the 1996 Telecommunications Act provisions that blew up or ended the local content requirements for newspapers, radio stations, and television stations, or excuse me, local ownership requirements. That's something that I think would have some impact. But there's still, this massive disinformation problem. And we really don't want a federal agency. We don't want a government agency to be deciding what's news and what's not and giving a seal of approval or even, blocking or censoring stuff that they say, oh, that's propaganda from, Kyrgyzstan or something. No, we don't want that. Why don't we want that? Well, in particular, we don't want that because the next Republican president is probably going to be another Donald Trump. It'll probably be Rick Scott or Tom Cotton. And these guys are neo-fascists. They openly embrace anti-democratic ideas. And so they would use an agency like that to, for example, throw this program off the air. So we don't want that. So what do? Well, Denmark has come up with a solution, and it's pretty amazing. The Brits just instituted this 18 months ago. They're doing it in Great Britain. Other European countries are looking at it very seriously. And we need to be looking at this really seriously here in the United States. What they've done, they've put together a program to teach media literacy. First graders in Finland. Now, this goes literally from kindergarten to dramas on television that old folks watch. Finnish first graders are, quote, guided in finding information from different sources and communicating it, and considering the fact that each text has its author and its purpose. In other words, they learn how to spot hidden agendas. First graders. By the 5th grade, students learn to, quote, analyze fiction, nonfiction, and argumentation, what we might call debate here, and recognize the difference between them. So you can tell, is this a news piece or an opinion piece? And by 7th grade, this media literacy is integrated into coursework on writing, rhetoric, and debate. Argumentation, they call it. In fact, the chief communication officer for the Finnish prime minister said the first line of defense against fake news is the kindergarten teacher. Mikko Hartikainen of the Finnish National Agency for Education said the program is designed to, quote, to create, quote, constructive interaction as a way to strengthen democratic participation and prevent hate speech and violent radicalism. The Finns did this because they were being overwhelmed with trolls from non-democratic countries, principally Russia, but other trolls as well. They were being overwhelmed by trolls on a couple of different occasions. The first wave was trolls. This was when Finland was taking in refugees from Syria, and it was trolls saying, they're going to destroy our Christian heritage, they're going to pollute our gene pool. The second wave was tied into the whole Brexit campaign, and time to blow up the European Union. We don't need the European Union anymore. And then the third wave came, and again, largely Russian trolls, trashing the NATO alliance. Of course, NATO was put into place to hold back the Soviet Union. So, Finland has jumped into this, and now it has spread from their schools, this whole idea of media literacy. They openly discuss these things now on their news programs. Well, and this is a clear attempt at propaganda coming from so-and-so. And it's finding its way into the Finnish version of soap operas and cop shows. I mean, it's like it is now this idea of being able to spot propaganda has become the thing that Finns are like proud of. We can do that here in the United States. This is not rocket science. I mean, we're still laboring under the problem of Bill Bennett blowing up civics education in the United States. So we've got 2 generations of Americans who don't even know how government works. But Education Secretary Miguel Cardona should put this at the top of his agenda. We need to start educating Americans about how to spot propaganda.